Hello everyone, good morning. So today in this opportunity, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Muthia Fakhira, and I am from Department of Public Administration, Faculty Politics and Social Sciences. And today I would like to present you, explain about the policy formulation in implementation, especially in Indonesia. So I would like to explain first what is the public policy. So public policy has been defined by many academics with various interpretations. So public policy is a principle of action that regulates government and community activities in a consistent manner through applicable law. Also, it can provide benefits and improve a country's economy through certain mechanisms regulated by national policies. So it means an important thing, it is main component to government affairs. Policy formulation can be defined as a science which the activity of finding, devising, and defining problem solutions takes place once a public problem has been recognized as the warranting government attention. And the policy formulation also one of part the process that can develop public policies and involves governments and other policy actor asking and answering questions about how societies can deal with various kinds of problems in one of the nation. This slide is mentioned about agenda setting, identify prioritized problem, and help resolve issues and problem recognized at the agenda setting. So the keywords of the policy formulation is agenda setting, identified and resolve issues, and prioritize problems. So okay, so the next one we have a theory from RD in 1995. There are 9 models or theories of public policy formulation, including the first one is institutional theory, which the government is a legitimate institution in making public policy. It's general and government has the right to monopolize the policy formulation process. So it means the government has the power, has the authority for making policy to make the decision and to evaluate the policy formulation process. And the second one is the process theory, which is identifying problems and namely the government taking an action from the demands of the community. The second one, arranging the agenda of policy formulation, which is choosing problems and that will be used as agendas. So identifying problems, the first step that we have to do for the policy formulation process is to know first about the problems, to know about the factors and aspects from the problems, and we have to know about the background of the problems. So the problems can be used as the one of the main component thing in policy formulation process. And the government taking an action from the demands of the community. Of course, the government should taking any chances, any action to the process theory from the policy formulation. And arranging agenda. This is the one of the main list that governments should do to make any policy formulation, which is choosing problems that will be used as agendas. And the third one, formulation of policy proposals, which is the development of policy proposals to deal with the problems that occur. So formulation of policy proposals, we have to make the proposals from the policy to know about the development of all of these steps from the process, the theory process from the policy formulation, and to deal with problems that occur to match with the problems that we taken to the policy. And the fourth one, policy legitimacy. Okay, policy legitimacy, I think it's one of the kind of main things too for making any policy formulation. And the third one, elite theory. Elite theory, that the theory that development from the political theory of the mass elite based itself on the assumption that there are two groups in society, namely the elite group or power holders and the mass group or those who do not have power. First of this, the elite group, and the second one is the mass group or those who do not have power, who do not have any authority to, who do not have any rights to make any policy. And the last one, the group theory. The group theory is a theory that be able to control a policy that is made as a point of balance, where the essence of group theory is that there are good interaction. So to make any policy, we should have a good interaction in a group because there are so many aspirations, there are so many new ideas from all of the group to make the policy better and will be perfect. Okay, the next one is rational theory. Rational theory, this theory puts forward the idea of public policy as the maximum social gain, which means that every policy that has been chosen must provide a benefit to society. So rational theory can be more logical than the other theory and puts forward to think about the future, the policy become better, become good than before, and think about the future, think about the benefits and the negative way to implement it. Must provide a benefit to society, must include it more benefit than the negative way. So the next is incrementalist theory, a theory that criticizes rational theory because according to this theory, policy formulators do not need to carry out the policy formulation process as said by the rational approach because they do not have intellectual time, funds, or human resources. So it means incrementalist theory is the contradictive from the rational theory. This theory is like criticizes the rational theory because of they do not have any intellectual time, funds, or human resources. The next one is public choice theory. Public choice theory, the government in making every public policy must be based on the choice of the public itself because it is the public who will carry out and fill the policy. So public choice theory, it's public can give any idea, can give any inspiration, aspiration to the government. The government choose the public choice to make any policy based on the choice of the public because it is public who will carry out and fill the policy, should know about the policy, and they were there to implement the policy. And the next one is system theory. It has three components, namely input, process, and output. These three keywords, I think it main things that the government should do on making any policies. Input, process, and output. In system theory, this assumes that the policy is the output or result of the system. So input, we should know, we should identify the problem first, and then what is the benefit for the people, for the others, and what is the purpose of that policy. And the process, we should choose the alternative one and the evaluation one, and we do think about the process. And the output is the result of the policy. Is it effective or efficient with this process and input system. And democracy theory is the theory of democratic model, is a theory in which every owner of democratic rights is involved as much as possible in decision making by paying attention and hearing the voices of his people. So the next slide, we have methods for this policy formulation. The first one is research on policy formulation simulation was carried out using a synthesis of qualitative research approach. So based on this research and based on the other journal, is using a qualitative research approach. The second one, the mass transportation moved to the establishment of a regionally owned enterprise, or BUMD, MRT Jakarta. The method applied in this paper is the descriptive qualitative using the primary and secondary data. So we can conclude that these two research or these two methods using a qualitative research or descriptive qualitative. And the last one, in the research method for formulating poverty alleviation policies, qualitative methods are used as the main descriptive analytical element to identify public policy issues in Sragen Regency in the eastern part of Central Java province. So we can conclude that three methods we using this qualitative research, or descriptive, qualitative, and qualitative methods. Okay, so we have here previous studies, and the first method that we use on the meta theory, meta structure, meta process is to understanding the dynamic system model. So what is the dynamic systems? So dynamic system describes a system that is constantly changing all the time. So the system dynamic approach is used to address complex problem and basic concept to focuses on the feedback process. So this involves 7 stages in approaching the problem. So the first one, problem identification, definition, system conceptualization, and model formulation, analysis of method or model behavior, and anything else. The second one is the complexity of the dynamic model characteristic first. So understanding the phenomena or every problems is essential because phenomena can be the basis for using the dynamic system. So identify the physical structure, information and material networks, and decision-making structures with the rules for making decision using information sources for decision-making. And the last one is purpose of the model. So purpose of the model is a tool to support every practical decision, allowing the effectiveness, the efficient of various policy scenarios to be tested. Okay, the second one is the law of level of community discipline in traffic. So we use this as implemented the transportation, one of the transportation in Jakarta, namely MRT. So we can conclude the result of the method using descriptive qualitative research is to low level of community discipline in traffic, the availability and services of any location transportation and sea transportation, and development of safe, orderly, integrated and affordable land transportation, also an efficient service system with excellent services, and development of sea transportation, and development of air transportation, and also development of an efficient system service with excellent service. So the next one, we have a policy about the poverty alleviation in Sragen Regency in the eastern part of Central Java province in Indonesia. So we have here the results of using the qualitative research is problem formulation. So Sragen create a policy that be a solution to handle problem with established integrated unit that handle the poverty self services is to handle. So problem formulation, the Sragen needs to know about the poverty in the city and know about the problem first, and it can be handled well. And the second one, policy agenda. Policy agenda, the economic factor is more focused on the budget deficit. So it is only able to make non-physical policies such as those in the area services. So it means the way to develop alternative solution to existing problems is to integrate poverty alleviation policies into one agency, which is still separate from certain agencies, so that it will be easier for people to access these services. And the policy in environment that influences policy is influenced by political and economical factors. And the last one is the determination of policy. The establishment of the UPTPK is carried out by issuing a law, so indirectly this policy is determined literally. The UPTPK policy makes one work unit contain civil servants. So the establishment of this organization policy is carried out by using a law, and the process and strategy of creating work units and structures as a place to carry out these policies. And the working principle is to coordinate with the budget management service for the poor, collect data, and serve complaints on existing problems. So from the policy determining UPTPK established just by a region with the legal basis on only a region decree. So I would like to explain the conclusion from my explanation about the policy formulation is a science in which the activity of finding, designing, and defining solutions from the any problems occurs after public problems are recognized as requiring the attention of the government. Based on this study, readers can find out the theories and methods that's what I explained before, used in policy formulation by using descriptive qualitative method research. In this journal, there is also an explanation of the method that being used, and the reader knows the flow analysis of the formulation of the policy on transportation, poverty, regulation problems, and research development policies, innovation policies, and grouping local level policies and problems. So in this journal, is using like three different cases. The first one is the transportation policy and poverty regulation problems, and the last one is research and development policies. Okay, so the next one, the suggestion for the authors or for me is to policymakers or maybe governments should look at everything that is going on, but from the government's perspective and from the perspective of the location where a policy will be implemented. So they should analyze more to make any policy, to do the evaluation, to choose the alternative ways to make the policies perfect than before. And in order to know which theories and methods should be applied so as not to cause unwanted conflicts, the government must take steps from policy formulation in accordance with the applicable stage, such as formulating strategic issues and scheduling policies by developing existing developments or building developments that can overcome problems that can be implemented immediately. So the government should take any further step or forward step from the policy formulation and not look at the before policy, because it will differ year by year. So the government should know about the up-to-date situation or problems, and the government should adapt it with any situation on the nation. So to formulating this strategic issues, the government should do the scheduling policies and make strategy and make any chances to make policies better than before. Okay, so thank you so much for your attention. I hope that you can understand what I explained before about the policy formulation. I hope that it will makes you more understanding about the policy formulation, what is the benefit and purpose, and also the steps or process for making any policy. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye. Bye bye.